Mario Kart World and by proxy the Nintendo Switch 2 are finally here. After what feels like an eternity of waiting, I finally have my grubby little paws on the Switch 2 and Mario Kart World. Making Mario Kart World the launch title for Nintendo's new console seemed to be the best idea. Until it wasn't. Not even a certified Nintendo glazer can ignore the hefty $80 price tag that Mario Kart World hoists. To say it was a big controversy would be an understatement. After the initial announcement, myself and many others were hoping that Nintendo would somehow find a way to justify the $80 price tag on the big new open world Mario Kart game. Well, the game is here, and as a huge fan of the Mario Kart series, I have a whole lot to say. So join me as I dive into Mario Kart World and answer the question, is Mario Kart World really worth $80? Chapter 1. New gameplay? Who dis? Let's begin by talking about Mario Kart World's new and improved gameplay. You can immediately tell from the first trailer Nintendo put out that the controls and physics were completely overhauled for World. I remember the jump from Mario Kart 7 to Mario Kart 8 being fairly similar, so I was able to grasp that shift fairly easily. But the shift from Mario Kart 8 to World has thrown me for a loop. The way your kart feels is very bouncy and weighty compared to the previous game's more tight and light feel. You might think that World is pretty gross to control, but it's not. Far from it, actually. Once you get used to it, the controls start to feel very fluid and comfortable. Now that I've played for a decent chunk of time, I might like them more than 8's. A bold statement, I know. There's just something about the controls and physics that make racing feel fun and satisfying. Satisfying is the best word to sum up the feeling of this game. The overhauled controls and feeling of the kart are enhanced by the addition of some pretty sick, not gonna lie, new mechanics. In Mario Kart World, when you hold down the drift button without moving the control stick, you'll start to charge up a vertical jump. The charged vertical jump lets you hop over obstacles as well as one of my favorite things to do, jump off the other cars. I don't know why, it's just so funny to me. Another new mechanic added to World is the ability to rail grind. Where are all my Tony Hawk fans at? This is a pretty gnarly and radical feature they added. Oh, okay, I'll stop now. You can do some pretty neat tricks on the rails and even flip over to some shortcuts. It's a mechanic I have yet to master, but one I think is still a fun addition nonetheless. The last major new mechanic I'll touch on here is wall riding. No anti-grav required. Okay, so it's technically not new. However, it functions very differently than in Mario Kart 8. After you come out of a vertical jump, rail grind, or pretty much anything that will get you airborne, and you're close enough to a wall, you'll start to ride the wall and charge up a trick. When you're able to pull it off correctly, it's pretty sick. I've seen some clips of people who can chain together all of these new mechanics into some absolutely wild stuff I could only dream to achieve. Those are the major additions to the gameplay, and I think they're all super fun and make for more chaotic races. Some minor changes made to the gameplay here include the ability to trick as many times as you'd like while in midair. This is fun, you can barrel roll all over the place. And when you get to a track with water sections, instead of driving under the water like in previous games, your kart turns into a jet ski and you can drive on the water. I like this a lot more than driving underwater. Plus, you can trick off the waves, which is pretty gas. The jet ski controls are almost identical to the regular driving controls, just on water with a little added tweaks. Mario Kart World also has some new additions in terms of items. Pretty much all the items introduced in previous games, bar Lucky 7 and Crazy 8 for obvious reasons, have made a return. The brand new items for World include the coin shell, which you throw and it leaves a trail of coins, exploding in coins at the end. The Kamek Orb, which summons Kamek onto the track and will change all the racers in front of you into a random NPC driver, which is actually how you unlock the majority of the NPC drivers, and Kamek will also throw some enemies on the course to cause even more mayhem. And finally, the Dash Food, which gives you a boost like a mushroom and also changes your costume, which, you guessed it, is how you unlock the alternate costumes in this game. The new items are cool and chaotic. perfect for Mario Kart. The last actually pretty major feature of Mario Kart World is that races now feature a whopping 24 racers, which is double that of Mario Kart 8. The real chaos comes when you're in like 5th or 6th place and it's an absolute bloodbath of red shells and bananas. I am of course always in 1st place, so I only have to worry about the unholy amount of blue shells. Seriously, I've almost went full on crash out mode because of them. Speaking of racers, there are a ton of classic Mario characters to choose from in this game, with a bunch of alternate costumes, plus the inclusion of NPC racers. You can't convince me that Cow is not the best racer in this entire game. Move over, Mario, this is now Cow Kart World. The inclusion of these NPC and enemy characters are just so ridiculous, and I love this game for it. The inclusion of costumes for the main racers is also pretty fun. They don't impact stats or anything, they're just fun to look, and I don't have to pay any rubies to get them. My biggest problem with the racers isn't even a problem with the racers themselves, it's actually just the menu that they're in. All of their costumes are listed separately and it clutters up the menu really bad. Yeah, there's a sort button, but it doesn't fix the core issue. The thing is, they already had this sorted out in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, where characters' alternate styles were a sub-menu after you selected your character. It's baffling that this just isn't a feature in World, and I really hope they fix this with an update. The actual kart selection is pretty solid too. Gone are the days of selecting each part for your kart. Now, all of the karts are pre-built, and honestly, I'm not upset that the kart building is gone. I actually really like the kart designs in this game. Some old builds make a return, but the new ones are all very fun. That's something I'll compliment this game on. All of the characters in karts and the whole design of the game are just so much more cartoony and pumped full of more personality. I much prefer the new direction this game takes in the design department. Overall, Mario Kart World's overhauled controls and physics, as well as the new mechanics and items, combined with double the racers and the large amount of characters and karts to pick from, makes for a fun, satisfying, chaotic, and all-around enjoyable Mario Kart experience, chocked full of personality and creativity that I just can't get enough of. Chapter 2. Putting the world in Mario Kart World. Having excellent gameplay is only part of what makes a Mario Kart game. Obviously, you need racetracks to, race on. The big gimmick for Mario Kart World is, well, the great big open world. Instead of having each of the game's tracks exist in their own little bubble, the developers thought to have all of the tracks feel like they all exist in the same world. Thus, Mario Kart World was born. Before I talk more about the open world and Grand Prix, I want to highlight the tracks themselves. Mario Kart World has a healthy mix of new and old courses. The new tracks introduced in this game are all such a spectacle and fun to play. The detail in these courses is just unreal. They really show off what the technical capabilities of the Switch 2 can do. While all the new tracks are great, I'd say some of my favorites are Starview Peak. I love the Rosalina's Observatory from Super Mario Galaxy vibes, plus the nighttime snowfall with the Aurora Borealis is just beautiful. Boo Cinema is pretty neat as you drive into the movie screen and an old-timey movie filter is put on. It's very unique. I also really like Cheap Cheap Falls. What can I say? I'm a sucker for that traditional Japanese temple aesthetic, and racing down the river rapids is pretty awesome. The new version of Bowser's Castle is a factory built on top of a volcano where they've produced a lava cloud that has a giant Bowser head, and it, once again, is quite the spectacle. And finally, out of all the new tracks, I gotta give it to World's version of Rainbow Road. Rainbow Road is by far my favorite track in every Mario Kart game, and World's Rainbow Road is 4 laps of pure bliss. The track, first of all, is absolutely stunning to look at. The tiles that make up the rainbow in the road are a treat to look at. The second lap has you jet skiing through a beautiful celestial river, and the third lap then takes you through a space station, very reminiscent of Mario Kart 8's Rainbow Road. And the final lap is set up with jumps and speed conveyor belts and culminates as you glide toward a grand finish line gate. This track takes you on a journey, and I'm here for the entire ride. Oh, and the music. Oh, the music. It's so climactic and beautiful. But don't worry, we'll be talking about Mario Kart World's soundtrack back in the next section, so stay tuned. Unlike previous games, the returning tracks aren't labeled as if they were from the previous games. These returning tracks have been rebuilt from the ground up, and most are given the love and attention to detail that all the new tracks received. This game is also the first time that Wario Stadium from Mario Kart 64 and Toad's Factory from Mario Kart Wii have made a return, which is pretty gas for fans of those tracks. I am very sad, however, that no Super Circuit tracks made the cut in this game, but there were a ton of them in the Booster Course Pass, so absolved, I guess. I'm also just not a fan of Choco Mountain being turned into a monster truck stadium. The song remix slaps, though, what can I say? There are genuinely no bad tracks in this game. They're all fun to play, have excellent detail, and banger music. I want to touch on the various modes in Mario Kart World, as that's where the whole interconnected open world really comes into play. Just like every Mario Kart before, there is a Grand Prix, and this is your fairly standard 4 races then get a trophy. However, what sets World's Grand Prix apart from the rest is that you must actually drive from one course to another. It's a very interesting concept that works sometimes, and then other times it just doesn't. You're also racing on the actual racetracks for one lap, except for the very first race of the cup. While the whole concept of racing to your next destination is neat, it's not always executed interestingly. I wish they would have also included an option to just race 3 laps on each course like in previous Mario Kart games. You technically can do this already, but it's only in versus mode. The next mode is brand new to the Mario Kart series, Knockout Tour. Knockout Tour serves as an elimination mode where the placement requirements get tighter and tighter each lap until there's only about a few racers left. Each Knockout Tour Cup is a cross-country race where you drive from one end of the world to the other, with the final lap being on a full circuit. In my experience, Knockout Tour has a lot more going on the open road than in Grand Prix. These tours can get quite chaotic due to the amount of racers in the tour, and it never fails that right when I'm about to win it all, I get hit with something nasty and I end up losing. I've actually been having a whole ton of fun with Knockout Tour. It's a good level of challenge and chaos that makes the whole thing feel right at home in the Mario Kart series. Just like previous games, Mario Kart World features a time trial mode where you can go for the best time, brush up on your skills, and race ghosts from those around the world, and Nintendo themselves. Time trials is pretty much unchanged from the previous games, which I don't think there's really anything that needs changing. I've always liked time trials. Nintendo ghosts are fun to challenge and you typically get some kind of reward for beating all their times. Plus, time trials works really well for recording gameplay footage for my videos. Then there's versus mode, which I mentioned a minute ago. Versus mode is Mario Kart's version of custom races. You can choose from your speed, your teams, item difficulty, computer racers, if the course will be connected or not, as well as your race count. This is all pretty much unchanged from the previous games, except for the connected course option. I use versus mode when I play local multiplayer with my family and friends, and even when I'm in the mood just for a few races. Versus does end up being my most played mode. The last traditional Mario Kart mode is the ever so popular Battle Mode. Battle Mode got kinda nerfed in World compared to 8 Deluxe. The only 2 battle mode options are Balloon Battle and Coin Runners. These function pretty much the same as in previous games, nothing new to report on. The battle courses all exist in the connected open world, but you can't drive to the other battle courses. Some of the battle courses even take place in open versions of the traditional racetracks, like Mario Bros. Circuit. I'm gonna be honest, I never really cared for battle mode in Mario Kart games. I literally only tried battle mode for this section of the video. The last and the largest mode featured in Mario Kart World is Free Roam, in which you are allowed to freely explore the absolutely massive open world. I was genuinely shocked by how big and vast this world is. You can literally drive everywhere except for Rainbow Road. It's really cool just to mess around and see what goes on when there's no racing. You can also explore the inaccessible areas of the courses that are in Grand Prix. There is so much to see in this big, grand world, but there's not a lot to do. To my disappointment, the world, while very big and fully explorable, lacks much of anything to do, and as a result feels very empty in certain areas. Don't get me wrong, there is stuff to do. There's question mark panels scattered around the race courses that when you drive over, they give you a sticker. The P-switches have you participate in various challenges that have you pass through gates by doing doing tricks or reaching certain destinations in a specific amount of time. These are fun little challenges, but nothing too meaty. And finally, there are these Peach medallions scattered in hard to reach places for you to collect. These are all cool little things to do, but that's it. I'm sure there's some unlockable tied to these, but so much of the world goes just straight up unused. There are definitely some areas that look like they had a story or mission mode significance that got scrapped mid-development. Having a fully explorable world is an awesome concept and quite therapeutic at times, but if there's nothing of significance to do in that world, then the novelty wears off and it becomes boring. Considering the asking price of this game, I was expecting a whole lot more from free roam. I really do hope that some free updates flesh out the world and add more interesting things to do. Something like having racers you can challenge on each of the courses, and like giant soccer balls and goals, and maybe just some mini games. Just more things that utilize all of the empty space. I cannot emphasize enough though how these updates would need to be free. While free roam is a mode I enjoy enough, the emptiness and lack of things to do really disappointed me and made me question if this game is really worth the price tag. On to a more cheery topic though, Mario Kart as a series has always had a big multiplayer focus, locally and in the last decade online as well. Mario Kart World's multiplayer modes are as strong as ever. Local multiplayer is pretty much unchanged as it goes up to 4-player couch competition. Sadly, not even the power of the Switch 2 can run players at 60 FPS, however. It's just capped at 30. Online multiplayer works pretty well. We had very few connection errors, which it's been a little more than a week since the game and console released, so I have some grace when it comes to that. It might have also have been due to the fact my friend was sitting outside while we played. I haven't been able to try any of the local wireless modes, so I just assume that works fine. It worked well in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, so I have no reason to believe that it doesn't in World. Overall, even though I was disappointed with the emptiness of free roam, I did have a lot of fun with most of the other modes, and I really love all of the fun and exceptionally detailed race courses, both new and returning. If it weren't for the half-baked free roam, this would be the perfect Mario Kart game. Chapter 3. I can't get this soundtrack out of my head. The Mario Kart series is known for not only its fun races, but also its exceptional soundtrack. Mario Kart World is no exception. When I say this soundtrack hits hard, OMG, it hits so freaking hard. Mario Kart World has two different types of music pools. The first pool is the standard race course themes for while you're racing on the courses themselves. These go from new compositions for the new courses to banger remixes for returning tracks. The songs from this pool are also used for Knockout Tour. The second pool of music is a jukebox full of remixed songs from previous Mario and Mario Kart games. This jukebox of music is used in both Grand Prix, where more upbeat songs will be chosen while racing between tracks, and Free Roam, where more chill songs complement the world exploration. Something really cool this game implements with its music is that as you approach one of the courses in Grand Prix or Knockout Tour, a prelude version of that course's music will play, and when you cross the line to start the next lap, the full course theme kicks in. This is a really great way to build anticipation and excitement for the next course. My favorite example of this is as you're shot up to Airship Fortress. Take a listen. While there are a ton of musical styles and genres within this game's soundtrack, the main style of music for World continues Mario Kart 8's style of Japanese jazz fusion, but adds in some classic rock as well. I am an absolute sucker for this style of music, so I love this soundtrack. I've been listening to the soundtrack the entire time while writing this video. That's how much I've been digging it. There are so many songs from the two pools of music that I cannot highlight them all. However, there are a few that I do want to highlight for you all. The first trailer for Mario Kart World introduced this game's main theme, and from the second that I heard that harmonica, ooh, I knew this theme was gonna slap. The use of the harmonica with that classic rock vibe encapsulate that Route 66 American road trip vibe. Couple that in with some classic Mario Kart motifs, and you've just created the Mario Kart World main theme. Mario Bros. Circuit also does the harmonica plus classic rock, but gives it a more racing vibes. I also really like the folk/hoedown vibe of Whistletop Summit. Cheep Cheep Falls grabs me with its use of the shamisen and other traditional Japanese instruments, along with some electric guitar and bass. And I am here all day for the metal remix of Choco Mountain. The last song I'll touch on is my favorite in this game, and that is Rainbow Road. As mentioned earlier in this video, Rainbow Road is split up into 4 laps, and each lap has its own musical arrangement. I'll be playing an excerpt from each as I talk about them. Starting off, the first lap has a synth playing the main melody of this song with the strings behind it. The second lap has you then glide and jet ski through a celestial river. With that, the music becomes lighter and a saxophone is introduced along with a choir. The third lap then has you glide onto a space station and the music gains a techno beat. Finally, when the final lap starts, the whole band comes in to play the main melody again as you finish out the race. This song is just such a journey. This course's music contributes to making Rainbow Road my favorite course in the game. Overall, the music in Mario Kart World is some of the best in all of the series. The new compositions and remixes of classic tunes work to really enhance the gameplay and world design of this game, and also cause me to speed uncontrollably when listening to it in my car. At the end of the day, after the overhauled gameplay, the large roster of characters and carts, the expertly crafted courses, the various modes, the half-baked empty open world, and the amazing soundtrack, was Mario Kart World really worth the $80? Well, value is in the eye of the beholder. To me, personally, considering the content that's in the game right now as of writing, I'd say no. I'd probably put it at around 70 bucks. If the game were released with more stuff to do in free roam and a story or mission mode, then I feel like the $80 would be a little more justified, even though $80 games is just still outrageous. Even though I was pretty disappointed about how empty free roam was, I have still been absolutely loving Mario Kart World. Everything from the detailed courses, satisfying gameplay, and the incredible soundtrack have made Mario Kart World more than worth the wait, and the perfect launch title for the Nintendo Switch 2.